Hey everybody, I'm here to talk about the latest episode of Empire. If you're new to my channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can see all my videos of this season of Empire. So let's get right into the episode. Now, all this episode, y'all, Lucius is trying his best to get Cookie back. He is pulling out all the stops. He's buying her all these expensive gifts and he's making her reminisce and just doing all of these little things to try to get her attention and to draw her back in. And so far she is resisting just about everything that he's throwing out. And I love all the flashbacks in this episode. Now, one of the things that I thought was real cute was the fact that the way that Cookie remembers the meeting is not exactly the whole story. Later Lucius lets her know that when they first met, it was a planned thing because he had saw her first when she was with her little boyfriend Barry, and he heard that she was going to be coming back through that way. And so he made sure that he was there all day so that when she came back through again, he would be there and, trying to impress her. And it worked. She came right over there and they had their little bonding moment, and that's what sparked their whole relationship. The only thing that Cookie kept was that gold gun. Something else that I thought was interesting was the parallel between Lucius and Barry. Now, Barry was the boy who had his life planned out. Lucius, on the other hand, was just a kid from the streets, hustling, trying to make it and survive. So, there were the parallels to the two. Now, it was very apparent that when Cookie was young, she didn't really know which way her life was going to go. And so her first choice in life was to choose Lucius. Now I think it's real funny how they introducing this Angelo character, and he's very Barry-ish, and it's going to be interesting to see if now she'll choose a little something different for herself. I wanted to punch Lucius in the face about 3 good times in this episode. The first time I wanted to punch him was when he snatched up Anika and told her that her only job was to be a mother and she didn't need no nannies, no help, no nothing. Excuse me, Lucius. Are you gonna be at home every day with that baby helping her raise it? I don't think so. You're gonna be up at Empire, off doing whatever you trying to do, trying to woo Cookie and do all of that stuff. Honey, you are not there with her. This is her first baby. Okay, of course she's gonna have a tough time. She don't know what she's doing. She's a brand new mother. And you ain't letting Hakeem come around. So, I mean, she's really doing it all by herself. And then you gonna snatch her up and tell her she don't need no help. Anika is basically in prison. And I mean real prison where people can shank you because his mama is up in there with that knife. And she's crazy. So Angelo and Jamal met each other on this radio talk show, and they were both there to talk about violence and things that are happening in the community. And so they kind of get into it a little bit about what happened to Jamal, and Angelo wants to call him a victim, and Jamal doesn't see himself as a victim, and partner up together. And Jamal was going to go down to his woke movement center and just see what he has going on down there, because one of the things that Angelo is trying to do, because he's a city councilman, he tries to help urban youth achieve, give them education, give them things to do, make sure that they get out of the hood, get educated so that they can get good jobs and live better lives. That's his whole mission. And so later on in the episode, Jamal actually invites Angelo and some of the kids from the program to Empire. And as they're doing this tour, they bump into Lucius, and Lucius makes sure he jumps in the middle of the situation, and he says that they should hold their summit there at Empire, and they should broadcast it live on Empire Extreme, to get more coverage. It's mighty funny how now Lucius is so interested in Nessa. And at first, he wasn't even trying to deal with Sean and Nessa. And y'all, of course, all he sees is dollar signs. He do that with all them female artists that come through there. Any artist, really, that looks like they can bring cash into Empire, he is all about them. So during this little meeting that they're in, Sean and Hakeem let Lucius know that they're going to work on music and they want to feature Nessa in them. And, that's what they decided they're going to do. Now, Hakeem and Nessa, they have a good work relationship. I mean, they do really good in the studio together. Now, I was a little hesitant because I'm like, oh Lord, here we go, Hakeem. He gonna be trying to holler at and all that stuff. You know how he do. And he just don't forget about that little fiance, ain't he? I mean, didn't they just break off the wedding, what, a couple of weeks ago? And he already just done dismissed her. He ain't thinking about her. He's just worried about that baby and this new Nessa girl. But y'all, what was crazy though was I finally found out who Nessa was in connection to Sean. It's his sister. Because it was very apparent when Sean did a one hitter quitter on dude in the studio for looking at his sister. And Hakeem was just looking like, oh, well, oh my goodness, because he was trying to give Nesta them eyes. He was trying to flirt a little bit with her in the beginning, but now I think he gonna think twice about that because Sean is crazy. So let's talk about Cookie and Angelo. What y'all think about this? Now, I think it's really cute because she went off on him, like straight up. She told him, I understand what you're trying to do. I'm just paraphrasing. I know what you're trying to do for these, little urban kids, but at the end of the day, what you know about their life? You don't know nothing about what they're going through. So how you gonna come in and try to help them do something? Yeah, you give them education and little programs to do, but what happens when something pops off in the street? You gonna be there to help them? Nope. You gonna be sitting somewhere in your little townhouse, drinking a mimosa, looking at the news. I mean, she didn't say that, but that's what she implied. And she just was like, you need to get up out of here. There ain't nobody trying to sting you. So she just went off on him and walked off. And it was so funny because Jamal was like, he was talking to Lucius and he said, the only person I seen her go off on like that is you. And he walked off. And then Lucius was looking stupid. And something else I thought was super cute was when they were there at the summit and they were filming it at Empire. And during Angelo's speech, he gave a shout out to Cookie because, she kind of schooled him on some things and kind of corrected some of the way that he was thinking and approaching things. And right when he said that, like Cookie was looking up at him and she had this big smile on her face. And then Lucius turned around and looked at her like, I know you, what is going on here? And she her whole face switched up. Did y'all catch that? Like, she was grinning like, and then when Lucius turned around, she was like, what you looking at? Oh, that was so funny. But then stupid Lucius, this is the second time I wanted to punch him in his face. So after that, Lucius gets up there and he says, yeah, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And he puts Jamal on the spot. And he says, why don't you come up here and sing a song? So once again, Jamal freezes up and he runs off and he has like a mini panic attack. And Lucius just makes it worse. Something else that happened in this episode was Becky. She wanted to get a better position, be head over the A&R department because, come on, Becky been putting in that work for this company. And so when she was trying to talk to Cookie about it, Lucius interrupted her, so she wasn't able to continue the conversation about it. So later on in the episode, her man came to see her. And, he was talking to her about it. And he said, look, you need to leave with me. I'm leaving this label. And you need to leave too. And Becky is just going through this dilemma of trying to decide, is she going to stay with the company that was loyal to her, that gave her a chance when nobody else would? Or is she going to try to, just grow in the business and become something greater somewhere else? So that's going to be interesting to see what she does. What y'all think? Do y'all think Becky should stay? Or do you think Becky should go on to another label where she'll probably be more appreciated and be able to grow more in the company? What do y'all think? Or do you think she just need to sit down and really be forceful and talk to Cookie and Lucius and be like, look, if y'all don't appreciate me, I'm going to go somewhere else? Ooh, y'all, what did y'all think when a nigga found that camera? I'm glad they found it because that was creepy. Like, Tariq was just being a creep. Like, what are you doing? She could have been breastfeeding in there. You know what I'm saying? Ew, Tariq, what are you doing? But, he is hot and heavy on the trail. He's trying to get Lucius by any means necessary. The character that had the most growth in this episode was Andre. He went from looking for Rhonda deliriously again to finding comfort in Jamal. Jamal told him that he would help him with his meds. Even though I think Jamal, and he finna have a pill popping problem in a minute because, he popping them pills and drinking and, And you know that's bad when Andre is like, I don't think you need to be drinking and taking them pills together. But anyway, so Jamal says he's gonna help him sort out his meds. Then he sits down and has a talk with Cookie, and it's a very emotional moment because you can just see the mother-son bond. She let him know that he is strong enough to make it through this, that when he was young, he didn't have anybody to come in and help him, and he still achieved things. Even though he was bipolar, and they didn't know it until he was in college, but he made it so far in his life just on the strength of his own determination. And she just let him know, you can do it, you can fight it. And I thought that was really good to hear that from her, to help him, get through it. See, because after that talk with his mama, who loves him, he sat down with his brothers and he let them all know that they were going to make it through. Even though nobody has it worse than the Lion sons, they were going to be able to make it through. He gave Jamal some encouraging words. He gave Hakeem some encouraging words. And it was just a really good big brother moment. And they also surrounded him and showed him love so that he would be able to be strengthened by it and try to get past Rhonda's death, because he was having a hard time. He's still having a hard time. But the end of this episode made me so... I'm glad they saved it for the end, because I don't think I would have been able to finish watching this episode if they would have put this in the middle or something, because I would have been so distracted by it. So when Dre goes back to his house to get his things out of there, this white lady sees him coming in and out of the house with boxes and things, because he's getting his stuff, and she gonna call the police. And the police show up and they harass him and hem him up and talk condescending to him and call him boy and all this, you know what I'm saying? This, what's up, yo? And all, you know what I'm saying? All this dumb stuff. So they basically harassed him, profiled him, threw him down on the ground, put handcuffs on him. Andre was trying to tell him, I live here. I'm getting my stuff from out of here. But see, the thing that pissed me off is why y'all didn't let him get his ID? Because you know what his ID would have had on it? You know what it would have had on it? His address, ho. And the address would have been to that building. See that? Oh, y'all, let me calm down. It just made me mad because it got very real. That is some very real stuff that's going on in this world right now, And I know this is just a TV show, but a lot of times what's going on in the world gets reflected in these shows. And this is definitely one of those things. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens after this. What do y'all think is going to happen? Do you think Dre is going to go into a different mode and be more leaning towards Angelo's cause and helping the youth and the community? Or do you think it's just going to be something that gets blown over and whatever, just be another experience that Dre had to go through? But y'all, that pissed me off. That got me hot real quick. I was so mad. Who else was mad when they seen that? Or did y'all feel like, well, I mean, come on, it's just another thing that happens. Like, he was a black man. But see, it just makes me so mad, because how in the world you think this man is stealing? Have you ever watched a robber, a thief? Have you ever seen a thief? Okay. Have you ever just looked at what they do, how they do it? This is a man in broad daylight carrying boxes in and out of the house to and back from his car. What robber just gonna be calmly moving stuff in and out with nothing over his face, nothing trying to disguise him? Ain't you his neighbor? Like, you ain't never seen him and Rhonda up in there? Or was he just invisible when he had a white girl? You know what? We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna do it. Listen, we all need to love each other. Okay, black, white, green, yellow, pink, whatever we are. We need to love each other. We have to come together. This is crazy. This world is out of hand. It's out of hand, man. But anyway, I'm not gonna preach. I'm just gonna say this was a good episode and I was into it. Tell me what y'all thought about it. If I left anything out, please drop it in the comments below and we will keep the discussion going. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.